Welcome to Venture with Joe and Cody, where we take a deep dive into the minds of leaders and innovators making a real impact today. I'm Joe.
And I'm Cody. And we're here to bring you the raw stories, the successes, and the setbacks that these trailblazers have experienced in their journey to where they are today.
Every week, we sit down with a new guest who's ready to share their insight and advice on business, entrepreneurship, and making a difference in their community. From local community members to industry experts, you're going to get the unfiltered truth behind their success.
So whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a seasoned professional, or just curious about the business world, join us for a journey of learning and inspiration.
So let's grab a drink, settle in, and let's get started. This is Venture with Joe and Cody. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Venture with Joe and Cody. I'm Joe Skipper. I'm the owner of Skipper Realty Group, brokered by eXp Realty here in the state of Oregon, and I am with Cody Wilhelm with Residential Mortgage, as always. How's it going, my man?
Doing pretty good. You?
Good. Yeah, things are good. We're getting into, depending on when we post this, we're getting our little winter storm, coming in.
We hope.
Coming in hot. So that's
Some of us hope.
The kids hope. I'm okay with it. We got to head to the coast, so yeah, I'm okay with it. Overall, I'll be okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking for give me 3 days. I
know.
Give me 1 day of snow, 1 day that you can play in it, and then it starts to melt off, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I just what bugs me the most about the Willamette Valley and the Portland metro area in particular is that we're always at 33 degrees and raining.
I know.
We always tease the snow.
Yep.
And I just want it to snow. I don't know why Portland has to be, the one that always stays just above freezing and miserable and cold and not snow. I just want snow. I'll take 8 inches of snow. Just give us snow.
I know.
And they're already talking about an inch of snow with a quarter inch of ice. It's really? Can we just get some normalcy around here?
I know.
Anyways,
we get these colds week-long 25-degree weeks, but there's not a cloud in the sky.
Yeah.
And then to your point, it's 33, 34 and rainy. But
so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I guess that's
not a knock to weathermen or meteorologists but especially in Oregon, they get away with a lot. The predictions literally up to the day that it happens is we could see sunny and 70 or a winter storm and 12 feet of snow. It literally is that all the time.
Right.
And I love meteorologists and I love what they do, but man, you have the most lenient position that I have heard of. Yeah.
I know.
So
I know. Yeah. We saw snow in the forecast for a week and a half. And I think I've seen approximately 18.
I know. It's so crazy. But anyways, I wanted to chat with you today about branding. I think it's going to be a little unique for you and kind of want to see what what your thoughts are on it from a lending standpoint, because I probably have different thoughts from the real estate side of things. Lending's a different beast. So what's your thoughts on branding? And what I mean by branding is everything from, the logo, who you are, your consistency, your personality, what you bring, so tell me a little bit about it on the lending side.
Lending side, I think, is probably a couple notches more compliant than the real estate side. The main thing, really, ultimately, you can brand yourself more or less however you want. I can't be the Cody Wilhelm Mortgage Group. I could brand it that way, but it all has to we got to make sure that we have the proper NMLS numbers, the company NMLS, the company logos, FDIC logos. There's a lot of stuff that goes with it. So I can't just kind of say, hey, I'm under this company umbrella and just market myself without marketing the company, just so that it's not deceiving. But yeah, there's a lot of regulations with it. Mostly it comes down to the loan programs and credit scores and interest rates. Those are the things that you have to be really kind of cautious on. But as far as branding yourself and who you want to be, I think it's pretty encouraged to go out and market yourself how you want. We just have to stay within maybe a little tighter parameters when it comes to specific things, because we have to be more general when it comes to credit scores, interest rates, payments, fees, stuff like that. I can't necessarily say a specific rate or fee, or like if I'm promoting something, if we have a promotion going on and it's a dollar amount lender credit, I can promote that, but I can't really just say what I want to say, or like, hey, I'm going to
Yeah.
throw this out there for a little while and kind of see what happens. So the say social media side of it, the however you want to market yourself, I think it's all encouraged. It's just maybe a little bit more like, hey, let's kind of be a little more generalized on what we're offering,
Yeah. Yeah.
as opposed to if I have if you've got a 640 credit score,
For sure.
here's exactly what your interest rate would be, or even I think the big caution or the big thing that they don't want you to do is just to say rates are this.
X. Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you have a 400 credit, then
They're
you
not
can say
that.
that was deceiving,
Yeah.
right?
For
When you're
sure.
saying this is based on an 800 credit score. Yeah, I mean the marketing side of it is, I'd say it's pretty open as long as you're not misleading people or making things seem as if everybody, this promotion or this thing that you're promoting has to be more or less that anybody could qualify for it. So
Yeah. I guess like what, maybe on a couple questions on the lending side. It seems to me that with lending in particular, you join a company, residential mortgage for you, and that's your, I don't know, that's your brand. Like I feel like real estate, and it obviously depends on your real estate company. Is like for me, for example, I can be Skipper Realty Group. I can market. I can make my logo. I can make my colors. I can do whatever I want. I still have to follow the advertising rules of knowing that my brokerage is EXP Realty. You see a lot more in some places are more strict than others. Like the Berkshire Hathaways are much more strict on. You are Berkshire Hathaway. That's your colors. That's your whatever.
yeah,
Do you guys have that? Like, do you have? It seems to me lenders just go with whatever brokers they're on, and that's their brand. Is that
yeah,
kind of the theme? And is that what you did, or are you looking into branding, or what's your thoughts behind all that?
yeah. No, I mean, I think from and I don't know this for sure, but I think from a compliance standpoint, it is the company has to approve the marketing. Like if
Okay,
I wanted to go out and I wanted to kind of create my own, say, logo and color scheme and
okay,
theme of
they'd have
things,
to go.
I could probably do it. I would just have to send it all through the compliance department.
I see.
And then everything that I use with that would have to go through them first. So I think it's probably just that constant hurdle that you need to get over
Yeah,
because any of the
everything that you
company,
do, have to be
yeah, any
approved.
of the company branded stuff is all approved through the compliance department. They know that there's nothing misleading. It all fits all of the things that they need to have on there.
I see.
So if it's something outside of that, you just have to get it approved through compliance beforehand. And so I think sometimes that just ends up being a maybe more work than the
Yeah,
benefit,
an extra
unless you
burden you
really,
don't want to do. Yeah,
yeah. I think maybe if you had a team, say if I had multiple office,
use your
try
words.
that again,
Use your words. It's hard. It's very
loan
hard.
officers under me, and I kind of wanted to brand it as more of a team, then I might go that route. I might take the time to like go through and make sure all that stuff. That way I can really brand it more
Yeah,
as me, which I think, again, I think most loan officers do brand themselves, but if there's specific marketing stuff, it's usually company issued materials. But I think most people, it's like we're employees, but we're also running a business that is kind of like you're self-employed. Like
yeah.
the company's not feeding us any type of transactions. So
Okay.
it's you have to go out and you have to get it. And the reality too is very few loan officers are going to be with the same company their whole career. If anything, there's probably a 3 years might even be generous. I know a lot of people that bounce
Yeah,
around quite
bounce
a
a
bit.
lot. Yeah.
And I think it just ends up being with the companies change how they run things. Maybe there's a new CEO. Maybe they're no longer doing these programs, and that person that was what they did there. And now they're like, well, maybe I got to look somewhere else. So
Yeah,
I think there's part of it that's maybe not worth the energy to like go through and get all this stuff branded when they can just use company stuff and just market themselves
for sure.
as like, this is the company that I work for, but this is what I do personally.
Now, do you find that a hindrance, or is it neutral, or is it negative too, or positive that you don't? Because I think of myself, I guess again on the real estate side, I know we're two different beasts in the same entity, but like it's nice to be able to separate yourself completely from another agent, or
Sure.
Like it's not necessarily that I'm representing EXP. I am representing EXP. They're my brokerage, but you can kind of pick a niche, or you can pick
Yeah,
a thing and kind of separate. You are the agent that has X, or you're the agent that
sure.
always does X, or has the brand X. Like my lion is like, a token thing. So do you
Yeah.
find it a hindrance or have you even thought about it? I don't know if lending really even thinks about that, or
No, I mean, for some people, probably.
yeah,
For me, not so much. I'm not the greatest when it comes to marketing, like something that looks good.
yeah,
I can market myself and do the relationship side of it and kind of like more of the I guess you'd call it the old school way of doing it. Like
yeah,
I want to get better. And it's something that I know we've talked about a lot, of getting better with the more marketing side of it, the social media side of it, the kind of aesthetically pleasing part of it too. So for me, no, I don't feel like it's really much of a hindrance because we have the basic materials, and then it's just more of like having those conversations. But I do know that there's a lot of people that are really good with social media, like loan officers that are really good with it, that's probably more of a struggle, because if their company is not like super heavy on getting a bunch of kind of trendy, cool stuff that's
yeah.
company issued, then it's like, well, what do you want me to put
It's
on
on
here?
you
Like,
to yeah
yeah, like I
to
have
either
to
get it
create all my
approved
own
or
stuff and maybe talk more as opposed to being able to have visuals. But yeah,
I
I
might.
think there's just a few more hoops to jump through.
Yeah, and I might be jumping around a little bit, and we'll bounce back and forth. But I guess like as you talk, I come up with more questions. I'm wondering, do you see, or again, like I'm throwing you on the spot here, do you see lenders starting to see the social media benefit? Because I think real estate is, and real estate is
Yeah.
heavy now into the videos and the marketing yourself on social media and the different things. Are you seeing Are you seeing lenders start to say we need to jump on this bandwagon and start providing our lenders this stuff, or what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, I mean, yeah, because a lot of the coaching anymore is heavy on the social media side of things, right? Like that's just free advertising. It's
Yeah,
a way to get in front of people. Like it's a no-brainer. If you're not doing it, you're really probably missing out. And I think companies are starting to get to that point too, where it's more of an encouragement, like, hey, this is a free way for you to get out in front of
yeah,
people. I think there's probably, and each company is different. I think that there's probably some companies that are just heavy on the marketing side, and they probably have, I mean, I've seen people, I know other lenders that have company issued stuff that is more like it's like a month long kind of campaign, right?
hmm,
Like every day there's a new thing that they can put on there and it's branded and it's simple, but it's for the purpose of social media.
yeah, yeah,
So I think that there are some companies that are probably putting a little bit more of an emphasis on that, of like a little mini campaign that you can do if you are a person like me, where it's like, hey, this is very simple for you to do. You just need to post this
yeah.
and keep this going. So
That's
yeah, I
interesting.
mean,
I'm trying to think of like, yeah, it seems, though we're in the same field and do the very intertwined in what we do, it just is two different marketing strategies.
totally,
And so
totally.
branding's just a different beast for you guys, it sounds like. That it's
Yeah.
just not as, I guess, like, what would you say is branding then to you? What would you say for a lender or people listening that are lenders or want to be a lender? What is the brand? What's branding to you, and like how do you make yourself Cody
Yeah.
versus Joe Schmuck from Lending 123,
Yeah. And so for me, I think it's a little bit different because I partially view branding as social media, because I think that's where most people will see you.
Mm-hmm.
But I really think of it, for me, is a little bit more of like the personal connection, getting to know me as a person and how I do business, as opposed to the things that I put on social media. It's kind of a little bit of a blend. Really, I guess I view myself, I'm not very good at marketing, because when I think about marketing, I think about more or less social media
Yeah.
and getting it out to a larger audience, as opposed to my kind of in-person, over the phone type of marketing, which is really more of a targeted marketing, whereas social media is more broad. I I know there's a lot of room for improvement for
I
that for
know.
me.
Yeah, for all of us. Yeah. It's good to hear about it and the goods and the bads.
Yeah, and I think that as I don't know what the average age of a loan officer is anymore. I know for a while there it was like 55, I think, was the average
Real
age,
estate
and
was
that might,
similar. Like,
yeah, it might be slowly going down. I'm not really sure. I'll have to look it up for the
yeah,
next one, but I
I'll look it
think
up while you're
as that
talking.
as that, kind of starts to come in, and it's like social media has been with them most of their life, I think that that is really going to turn quickly. So for old people like me, trying to get in and get going with it beforehand, before it does turn into, in 10 years when, our kids are looking at getting into that type of
Yeah.
business, and that's going to be super easy for them.
Yeah,
They're going to take over the social media side because
for sure.
us olds are like, wait, now how do you post this
For
thing
sure.
again?
I know. And side note, it's 44 now. So for you loan officers.
44. Oh, okay.
And
Wow.
real estate is 49 to 55. So,
Okay.
which, I'm getting close to that. Like maybe not that close, but
Sure.
I
Yeah.
feel like I am.
Yeah.
But no, it's a great point, and I think that's why the brand, like I guess like branding, like who you are. Like so for lending, you're really marketing just who you are. Like your branding is you.
Yeah.
Like not
Yeah.
that mine isn't, but it's just a little bit different,
Yeah.
How do you find, I guess like how do you find your business compared to others in the sense of like, do people come to you? I guess like, I'm thinking out loud here, so I apologize. Do people come to you for like the rates? Like, how do you find like,
Yeah.
I guess I'm just trying to link branding to like how to attract your clients, your ideal
Yeah.
client. Like, is it just random or how does that
You
go?
know, I think most of the time it's just based on my good looks.
Yeah, no,
But when it's not,
I didn't know how to say that, but it's absolutely,
right.
that's what I
Yeah.
asked. So,
You teed me up for it. No, I think really for me personally, it's just relationship building. I don't know that I've ever got anything from social media. If I have, it's been connections.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like you and I, right? Like we social media is what kind of brought that together. I've met other people from social media, but most of my clients end up coming from somebody that I know that referred me, whether that's a real estate agent or a friend or a financial planner or somebody that I've just built a relationship with over the years, that when they have somebody that says that they want to buy, they refer them over. So
Yeah.
I don't get really, it is something I'd love to do better, obviously, with the marketing side, because I would love to be able to bring in my own people that is from content that I'm putting out there. But I haven't got to that point yet. So it's all just been word of mouth, personal referral, built a connection. And again, some of that does come from social media, but not the actual buyer that says, hey, I saw your video. And I wanted to reach out to
Like
you,
rando.
and things have happened, right? I've had great conversations with people that have asked certain questions and got information, but with me, my social media is not anything fancy, and I'm trying to kind of go with more of the educational feel, so that it is teaching people, because I don't really have anything to sell necessarily. Like I don't want to just put flyers out there like, hey, check this out. It's like I'd rather give insight onto certain things. I know you probably get more, homes are attractive.
Yeah.
So
Fun to look at. Yeah.
People looking at that, what are you seeing? Because you probably get a little bit more of a personal interaction with the potential buyer or seller from your stuff, right?
Yeah. I think that just segueing from your point is social media. So we're about a 97% referral business. And so we get primarily referral business. And we have done, and we're working on improving our ability to track whether that comes from Facebook, Instagram, whatever, because I'm heavily on social media, as you know, and I want to track that. I didn't have a good process of how to do that, and we're working on processing that, because when you combine a referral business, a primarily referral business, to social media, there is no, well, unless you ask, there is no way to say, hey, how did you find me?
Yeah.
Like, how did you use me? What I've heard anecdotally is what I want, is they say, when I think of real estate, I see you all the time. I see you on social media. I see you on Facebook. I see you on Instagram. And so when we have done informal polling of that, people have said you're there, you're front facing all the time. And so that's like, I think a huge consistency is important in the branding of being out there constantly. As to tracking who use me because of that, that's fairly difficult unless you ask them directly. Is it because of Facebook? Is it because of Instagram? I think in my own head, I thought, I want that. Like, real estate is boring, but you and I both have talked about this. It's not a topic that you're like, I'm scrolling around, I just want to see what Joe's talking about in the real estate world, or Cody's latest mortgage rate help. No one cares. But when they care, I want them to think of me.
Yep.
or when they
Yep.
hear I want them to think of the lion, or when, that they see that all the time so that that's their go-to. And have had clients that have said, look, I reached out to you, and they're friends, but they're like, I reached out to you because every time I get online, you're the person giving educational videos, or you're the person
Mm.
doing this. And so
Yeah.
for me, that's like why I do it, not, but to provide like assistance. I think in this, I just was talking to Christina today about this, is people don't know what they don't know. And I'm not like, I don't want to get in trouble for knocking people, but like our field has a lot of great people, and they have a lot of terrible people. And it's like,
Sure.
and people, clients especially, not our clients, hopefully not, but clients buying and selling accept mediocrity in real estate. They just do.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's countless number of people that I've talked to that said, my real estate agent was, I'm not going to use them
Right.
again. They were fine. Bought a
Yeah.
$900,000 house with them, and they were okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what? You pay them a lot of money. You should expect a lot from them. And it's
Yeah.
just a crazy world. So I think in my head, I have to get out there and show people it can be different,
Sure.
I'm not tooting my own horn saying I'm the savior of anything, but I think for a marketing standpoint is saying there are experts in the community. Don't just settle for
Mm-hmm.
or the cheapest, or don't just settle for this person that you heard down the road. Like you really have to go with someone that's an expert. So anyways, long story circling around, I think branding for me was important from the very beginning. And this sounds superficial, I'm going to keep rambling, but I wanted something that was wearable. Like when I thought of my brand, I didn't want, no one wants to wear a real estate thing. No one.
Right.
I don't want to wear a real estate thing.
Yeah.
And so when I came up with the lion, even my logo, even my hat, I want the hat to be something that people wear and love to wear, and don't have to be like Skipper Realty Group underneath, because it could be a great hat and there's like Skipper Realty Group, no one wears it. So
Yes.
I did a lot of focus and got very specific and nitty gritty about how my branding is going to be in real estate, and looked at other brands and looked at how people market themselves and things like that. And I really wanted a brand that's kind of on, not necessarily on the forefront, but kind of a timeless, like you could wear this, like you could wear this hat and people will ask you, what's the lion for? Like,
yes.
And then you hope that spurs conversation. But I also wanted to wear it too. I wanted to be able to wear my stuff and not be like, I'm wearing my Skipper Realty Group,
right?
Like, sweatshirt or whatever. So yeah, I was very particular about how I was going to brand and how I wanted it to be for my business.
Well, and I think that's actually pretty smart too, because there is a point where it's like you don't know what your hat is, right? Somebody's either going to think, oh, that's a cool hat, or they're going to ask you like, hey, what is that? And it gives you that opportunity rather than it just says, I'm a real estate agent on there, right? And then some people are turned off by that, and some people are, they're like, oh, okay, now I know that person's a real estate agent. But it's kind of a cool marketing thing because it is different. Most other logos that I see from the real estate side, it has the imagery, or the words within it.
Which is fine. So, like I'm
nothing wrong with
for
it.
anyone that's looking to brand is like you have to do what you want to do. I think for me, I wanted a universal brand in the sense that, because we give these out like to clients, to agents, to whoever wants to wear it. I wanted to be proud of the thing I brought, and not that I'm not proud of Skipper Realty Group, but I wanted something that everyone would be like, I can wear this, and be cool with it. And you would wear that. Like, you'd be like, yeah, I wear it. Even if you weren't going to use me, it's just like, the more it gets out there and the more people like see it. But you're right. Like lots of people have come up to me and said, yeah, people always ask about my hat. They're like, what's the lion? What does that mean? And then if they spur the conversation, like that's great. So it's done what I wanted to do. So I would say branding for at least the real estate agent side of things is really focus on who you want to be, what you want to wear, what you want to portray to people, what, you really should, don't bounce around with different things. Kind of get with someone, figure it out, and kind of go with a brand that you are comfortable with and confident in, wearing, confident marketing and things like that. But
and that is one thing I would love to be able to do, is create that whole thing. Create a logo, create the name, all that stuff, the color scheme, all that stuff. But it's just a different businesses, different regulations. And, it's a cool thing. I wish that I could do that.
But I think it's unfortunate. Like I get the regulations, but I'm like, come on, guys. Like this is, again, we're in the future here. I think not allowing your lenders this is my personal opinion, but not allowing your lenders to do that sort of thing, it only helps. Like, I think it only helps EXP that I'm successful using Skipper Realty Group under EXP. It only helps them. The more I can be proud of my brand, the more I can push my business. It only brings in more income for EXP. And the same with, your company. And again, I'm speaking for myself. I hope you don't get you in trouble. But
Oh, no,
I
no.
just think the regulations are silly. I don't think they've caught up. That's my personal opinion, that they haven't caught up with the times. That you
Dude.
should be able to be Cody Wilhelm at Residential Mortgage, or whatever name you want, whatever name brand you want, whatever brand you want. And obviously, we have the same marketing. I have to put EXP in certain things to let people know that that's my ultimate brokerage.
Right.
But like, I don't know. I think the branding would help the business.
Well, and I completely agree. And I hope that stuff starts to kind of tone down a little bit to where it is a little bit easier, because I think ultimately most of the time people don't, like, if you're selling a house for someone, I don't think that they care which brokerage you're with. So, yes, for the company's sake and the standpoint of that, like, yes, they want to be out there with you
For
too.
sure.
If you're having success, they want their, just like a golfer, right?
sure.
That's got the logo on their shirt. Like, they want that front and center. But at the same time, the person is using you because of you.
Yes.
Not because, like, oh, he's an EXP guy. Like, that's my go-to.
Yeah.
Because he's with
Because he's
EXP,
with
or
EXP.
Keller Williams, or
Absolutely.
whoever it is.
Absolutely.
And the same thing goes on our side. It might be that way a little bit more on the lending side, because each company has different programs that are offered. So it might be they're choosing you because of the company.
Yeah,
the company
or they may go
offers
with the
that
bank,
thing.
the bank that they already banked.
Yeah.
Those sort of things. But
Yeah. But in general, I think the same rule applies for the most part, is that it's who you are and you happen to work for X company.
no,
But
that's a really good point. And that's, I think, where EXP has thrived, is they have allowed that flexibility. And that's why I ultimately chose EXP. That ability to market myself, they were like, go for it. And the thing is similar to lending, agents pop around to different brokerages, because it used to be, especially in the old days, that it was like the Coldwell Bankers, the big time places, you just stuck with them forever. And now agents are saying, for the exact reason you just said, is, look, I have a 97% referral business, not because I'm with EXP. It's because I'm Joe Skipper. It's not even because of Skipper Realty Group. It's because they trust me. They know me. Agents are starting to hop to different brokerages, because they're like, well, who offers me the best? Who offers me the cheapest? Who lets me keep most of my commission? Who offers me the most training? Brokerages that see that and adapt to it. Keller Williams is a great one that lets people adapt to it. They have teams and they can do whatever they want. They have to stay within the guidelines. EXP is the same. Yeah, and the same with lending. I think that if you're slow to respond to what lenders and agents want, you're going to start seeing lenders and agents move to the other company. And I think ultimately, yes, you do want, the Keller Williams wants their name over everything, I'm sure. But they also want money. And so to allow those agents flexibility, especially when agents, at least I can speak for the agents are always looking for, like, how do I keep the majority of my money? Because what are you providing me as a brokerage? It used to be the brokerage provided everything. And now agents are seeing, like, I do a lot of this stuff. I do my own social media marketing. I do my own this. I do my own that. Like, what are you providing me as a brokerage besides me hanging my license there? And so, yeah, it's an interesting world on the real estate side. Do you see that? I know lenders jump all over.
They do.
Why do lenders jump all over?
I think the main reason is because if you start to run into issues, I mean, again, it could be that the company is starting to change its policies.
Okay.
It could be as, I don't want to say simple, because it's not just the simple thing, like underwriters, a new underwriter that is super duper critical and nitpicks everything. And it's like, after a while, you're like, man, I feel like I can't get anything done without fighting a battle every time. Or maybe somebody retired and they were, it was like the operations manager that's now retired, and it's this new person in there that wants to change everything. So I think most of the time it ends up being something that is personnel related. They might not be happy with how something is ran, because at least in my experience, the rates and the fees don't tend to really change that much from when you start, like year over year. It's not as if, like, oh, man, our rates just keep getting worse and worse and worse, and everybody else's are getting better. So I think for the most part, it's a product based thing where they feel like they're missing out on opportunities because their company doesn't offer this thing, or it's just feels like it's harder and harder and harder to get loans through.
I see.
and you just feel like, you know what, it's time to make a move. The times that I have changed, it really has been like internal company changes that have happened
Yeah.
to where, over time you're like, this isn't even the same place anymore.
Yeah.
And it's just a whole different feel than it was a couple years ago. So I think it's just, you have a couple bad experiences plus things change and you're
Yeah.
like, I don't know that this is really the right fit anymore. Maybe I should look out there and see what else is out there. But I will say on that, from the lending side, and I know we've talked about it before, the internal support, I think is what makes or breaks keeping people.
Yeah. Okay.
Because if you feel like you're on an island, like you could feel supported from the loan side of it and have very little marketing, very little anything flashy.
Yeah.
But you can get loans done and you have the support and you can get them done quickly and the rates are good, everything. And it's like, that's all I need. That will bring in more business just by doing that, more so than a cool, flashy, all the marketing stuff. But then every loan I do is like just
terrible,
a brutal process and nobody's happy with it. So I think it's kind of it's a give and take.
Yeah. I see that. Yeah. I can see it's just super important in because I think we're more front facing,
Totally.
We're more, getting in front of those buyers and sellers, showing them the home, showing them the, things online, in person, those sort of things. So I think, for us, branding is so important. And I think like for agents that are struggling with branding, there's a lot of tools out there, and I can talk to you if you are interested in that. But man, branding for us has been, I think has made a significant impact in our business personally.
Mm-hmm.
I think who you are, what even, I know it sounds superficial, but your look, your, the hats, the whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like if you, buy into that, but also my tip is to make sure it's you, I know we had Sean Bautista on, super cool guys, do luxury real estate, super well dressed, and they look awesome, but that's comfortable for them. I would stand out like a sore thumb, but they took it and they went with it, and they built a huge successful company on it. So branding in the real estate world, I think, is very important.
Yeah.
And getting it right. And I'm not saying you have to get it right the first time, but get it right, stay with it, and be consistent with it.
Yeah, I think just kind of like you said, being yourself and figuring out what you're comfortable with and what you feel like you can do and be yourself doing. Because if you're not, then it's like it's just going to fizzle out.
For sure.
And you're going to feel fake doing it too. So you might as well just be yourself, and if you think that's goofy, then chances are people are probably going to like it even more.
For sure.
They want unique, authentic stuff.
Yeah, that for definitely social media is like I remember, you can look back at my old videos and just see me kind of navigate the world of who I am and what do I want to do and who do I want to be. And I had people in the very beginning was like, suit tie, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah.
You're not going to be successful if you don't go suit and tie. And I was like, and I was so insecure, so new, was like, okay, I got to fit in this thing. And tattoos, don't show your tattoos. Like, so that no one's going to want to work with you. And
right.
And so I was super paranoid about a lot of things that I just did not need to be. But like going to your authenticity is just be yourself. If they don't like that, if they don't like that about you, then you're probably not someone you want to work with anyway. So
exactly.
Like there is bumpers between that. You don't want to go the extreme, but some people do go the extreme, of both sides and focus on a certain particular niche of people, and so, it's just interesting, like navigating that, but it is be yourself, like just figure out what you want to be, who you want to be, what agent you want to, who you want to serve, like what community you want to serve. The Bautista twins are amazing with luxury clients. They look the part, they drive the cars, they do everything, and they're great at what they do. And they found that niche, they're comfortable in it. Mm-hmm. And I kind of found my comfort zone of like, this is who I am. I want to serve the people who do I want to serve, and just, be that guy.
Yeah.
Which is me.
Right. Yeah. And you kind of attract those types of clients too. If you tend to be like the Bautista twins, dressing nicer, driving nicer cars, everything is nicer, you're more than likely going to attract a higher end type of client because they can relate to that style and everything. With your social media, with your marketing stuff, like, do you have any tools that you have used that you feel like were, say, a game changer or like took you to that next level, or is it just marketing in general?
Yeah, a lot of it
you've had success with.
Yeah, it's been a learning curve and still is a learning curve. So it's like, I took don't think you can be an expert at all of the social media realms for one. Like you cannot be an expert at Facebook and Insta. You can be, but don't take each individual social media site and say I want to just dominate that. It's easy to combine Instagram and Facebook a little bit, but even they have algorithms that are different and you need to know, the certain things that they do. But TikTok's different than Instagram and different from Facebook. And so it can be overwhelming. As you know, like it's overwhelming to think of the amount of stuff that you need to continue to learn.
Yeah.
So I focused on just certain social media realms. At first I just did YouTube. Like I was like, I'm just going to be good at YouTube and get consistent long form content. I don't care about Facebook. I don't care. I still posted there, but I was like, I'm not. If I try to be an expert at all those, I'm going to be overwhelmed and stressed out and not do it. So really just took one thing. And as I learned that one thing, it was like, okay, here's a tool that helps this one social media realm. Here's a tool that does this. And they all you start to see them all kind of blend and kind of come in to every realm. And some only work for YouTube and some, work for it all.
Okay.
So yeah, like Opus AI, taking long form content into short form content. So it allowed me to do my long form YouTube content and just clip it and put it into Facebook and social and Instagram. So that's a huge thing. ChatGPT for script writing, for ideas on what to talk about, on research into different things. ChatGPT has been huge. Blink marketing. We had Angie on the other podcast. Super helpful with marketing strategies and things like that. So, it just as you go, just be okay. Like just be okay being slow at it, I think, in my head. Because I think when you're new, you want to race into everything. You want to like just overwhelm the system with everything.
Yeah.
And what I see a lot with agents, unfortunately, is I know the agents. It's like almost like a New Year's resolution of like, I'm going to lose weight. They pour social media on every realm, on every facet, on stories, on everything. And then you see as the months go by, it just starts to drift off.
Yeah.
And then you never see them again, and it's because I think they get so motivated, which is great, but they get overwhelmed because it can be overwhelming. You're always going to have stuff that's like Instagram just changed this, or this is the new trend on Facebook, or this is the new trend on TikTok. And if you're focused on like, I'm going to be good at this, and this, you're just not going to be good at them all. So I would say I focused on YouTube. And so I'm still struggling with YouTube. It's just normal. But I'm just being consistent and just trying to be consistent and put stuff out there. So
yeah. And I think that's the hardest part. I know we've talked about this a million times, the consistency. That's the part that I struggle with every time. And just like the people that you were talking about, like you get these bursts of excitement and I'm going to commit to doing it. And then it's not hard, but it's not easy either. You have to constantly be coming up with something that you're happy with, and putting it out there and putting it out there. And then you have to be on there as well, kind of monitoring it, because if people are commenting or being involved, which is what you want to be responding back to them and having that conversation. So it's like, I think it really does have to kind of be part of your life, not just like a business thing. I'm going to post something once a day and that's all I'm going to do.
Yeah. But you can be strategic about it. It doesn't mean that you have to be on it staring at your phone. It's like, okay, I'll check at this time, I'll check at this time, and I'll check at this time, and not getting overwhelmed, like you said, of looking at the likes, looking at who commented, looking at all this every single time. Like I've turned off some of my notifications for that because it can be too much. So, but if you just, I'm going to address it at noon, I'm going to address it at 5, I'm going to and then be done for the rest of the time. So, it can be a lot. It can be a lot of stuff, but it's fun, and I think it helps your business, and I think that's kind of the future of real estate, at least on the real estate side, is being that agent, so that when people are like, hey, I need to sell a house, like who does that? Seeing my little face pop up on your Instagram reel is my goal. So
yes. Yeah. Talking about notifications and everything, I have realized when posting videos, when I do my work related things, there's about the same amount of views roughly that I'll get for each one. And I think it was last winter, maybe I had posted a video of me sledding, and I went off this jump and broke the sled.
Yeah.
And the funny thing
that
is,
one.
That thing got like 10 times more attention than any other video that I've done. And it's very humbling, because I think it's easier to create something that's just funny and entertaining, but to create something that is educational for business purposes, I think it can be deflating, because you feel like, oh man, nobody's really interested in this because I'm not getting the same amount of stuff. Maybe I should just post random things, but I still think sticking with it, because you've already said that you have had communication with people that were like, every time I'm on
Yeah.
Instagram or Facebook, you're there, and we were finally ready, and now's the time. And I think that sticking with it and staying consistent and providing value to people, it might be boring 11 months out of the year for them, but that 1 month they're going to go, all right, Joe,
Yep.
I see you.
For sure. And the algorithms are there. And that's like, you know, deciding if you want to be an influencer or an agent, like, or a lender.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
you know, and it's not bad to be an influencer. Like, it's fine.
Right.
But it's a whole different stats to look at. Like, you're not going to get, I'm not going to get 300 likes because Joe Skipper gave you the latest market update. Like,
Right.
it's just not going to be in the cards.
Yeah.
But the algorithms, YouTube, like Instagram, all those things see that you're a consistent poster, you're interacting with the community, you're doing those sort of things, and that's going to get you that face forward stuff. I don't necessarily, because I'm not an influencer, I'm not caring about who likes my stuff, how many friends or followers I have. I want to be the person, again, this is like beating a dead horse, but like be the person that is in front of their face when they are thinking about buying. And that they're like, no other agent does it as consistently as Joe does. It doesn't mean I have to have 800 likes for every single one I have. It just means to be, I have 800 videos that like people see that like he's out there every single day talking to me about real estate. So it shows you're an expert in the community. It makes you an expert in the community.
It does.
It forces me to learn all the time the industry, like what's going on in the industry. It makes you stay up to date. So it's good in a lot of different ways in your career. So
agreed. Yeah.
But anyways, if you have any questions about branding, I did this brand myself, but our group within EXP has their own team that helps you brand stuff, so I can help out with that stuff too. But
yeah,
that's just like.
And if you have questions on branding, reach out to me and I'll refer you to Joe.
Well, it's good to see you, man. Gosh, what
hey,
was I going to say? Oh, I was talking about consistency. You were saying like just one little side thing is like it's hard to be consistent, and we've had it with Real Talk every week.
Yeah.
It's like, it's hard to be consistent. Like it's with venture. Yeah. It's just like, it's not hard to do. It's just hard to do.
Right. It's just hard.
Just like, you know, and so, yeah, we just, that consistency, but I think it's paid off. We've even seen that like with people noticing the podcast, noticing those sort of things. So yeah, anyways, back to the consistency side of things before we go.
It's the easiest part of it, yet it's the hardest part of it.
I know. It's crazy because we enjoy hearing our own voices and
we do.
But still, even then we're like, are we doing it this week? Or are we like, what are we doing this week?
Yeah, we should do it.
Yeah. But okay, man, until next time.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what we have planned for next time. We'll figure it out. But
it's a mystery.
It always is. Okay, it was good to see you, and we'll chat with you soon.
All right.
See ya.